Talking about hometowns and jobs. 1. Talking about hometowns. Frequently asked questions.
Where do you come from? Can you describe your hometown? Do you know something about the history of your hometown? What is the weather like there? Are there any interesting places I can visit? What do you miss the most about your hometown? Can you compare your hometown with big modern cities like Beijing?
Dialogue study. Wang Xiao and Li Chen meet each other at a university library.
Hi, I think you're a friend of my friend, Zhang Juan.
Yes, I know Zhang Juan. How do you know her?
I work with her. How about you?
I met her at the swimming pool. We both love swimming.
Where do you come from? I mean, where is your hometown?
I'm from the northeastern part of China, Changchun, the capital of Jilin province. And you?
Well, I was born in a small village outside of Hangzhou, but I also grew up in Hangzhou. It's a couple of hours away from Shanghai.
Yes, I've heard of it before. It's quite famous. Definitely a place on my to-visit list. What is the weather like there?
It's probably not as cold in the winter as Changchun is, and hotter in the summertime. We don't get a lot of snow, but there's a rainy season. How's the weather in Changchun?
Well, cold, of course, in the winter. Many people think it's cold in Changchun all year round, but it's really not. The summers are really beautiful, not too hot, about 32 or 33 degrees.
Wow, I didn't think it would get that warm there. Maybe I should go and see Changchun next summer. Are there any interesting places I can visit in Changchun?
Yes. There are a couple of places I would highly suggest that you visit. But the best time to come is in the winter time. There's skiing on the Changbai Mountains, skating along the Sunghua River, and a special ice lantern sculpture festival, too. Did you also know that Jilin is known for its deer antlers, for medicinal purposes? Anyway, I could go on and on about my hometown. What about Hangzhou? What are the interesting places to visit? I bet there are a lot of tourists each year.
Yes, Hangzhou is usually full of tourists. Everybody knows that the area around the West Lake is really beautiful, and there are a lot of famous sites there, too. You should see the West Lake during the moonlight. It's so beautiful, especially during the Autumn Moon Festival. I really miss my hometown.
Me too. There's really no place like home. What do you miss the most about your hometown?
You mean besides my mother's cooking? Well, I suppose it would be walking along the West Lake during a misty morning or a beautiful sunset. What do you miss about Changchun?
My family. I have a lot of aunts and uncles and cousins living in Changchun. I'm the only one who lives outside of Changchun.
Wow, I can't even imagine being on my own like that. That must have been really hard at first.
Yes, it really was. When I first moved to Beijing, my cousins were really envious. They thought that Beijing was obviously better than Changchun because it is the capital of China. In fact, I thought so too at first. But now, I don't think that is much.
What do you mean?
I mean that there are definitely some similarities, like both are modern capital cities, but as the center of education, culture, and politics, Beijing is definitely more exciting. There are many opportunities to grow and learn. Like in Beijing, you can easily watch a variety of international standard performances, and you will be better informed.
But it sounds like you think Beijing is better than Changchun.
Let me finish. There are definitely more opportunities in Beijing, but I still think that Changchun is a much friendlier place. People are not so busy, and their lives are not so hectic. Anyway, that's just my opinion. Do you think Beijing is a better place to live in than Hangzhou?
No, not really. I think that Hangzhou is much more beautiful than Beijing. In my opinion, Beijing is developing too rapidly, so pollution has become a big problem. You know how everyone complains about all the cars on the road, too. Traffic jams are so common that if you don't meet one when you're traveling, you feel that something must be wrong. Another thing about Beijing is that there are so many modern buildings, but the city has lost some beauty. Much of the history of Beijing is hidden now, after lots of the old houses were demolished, except for some of the tourist sites.
That's a shame. What about Hangzhou? What kind of history does Hangzhou have?
Hangzhou was founded about 2,200 years ago in the Qin dynasty. It was also the capital city for the Song dynasty, and it has always been famous for its natural beauty. Now Hangzhou is known as a place for silk and for Longjing tea.
You've convinced me to go. I'll have to visit Hangzhou someday soon. Say, I've got to go. I'm sorry we didn't even introduce ourselves to each other. I'm Li Chen.
I'm Wang Xiao. I've enjoyed chatting with you.
Thanks, me too. We'll have to get together another time.
Yes, definitely. Take care.
Bye.